to Let's Talk with Lakshmi, a show about us, our people, our community, our culture, our experiences. And viewers, today it is indeed a pleasure and an honor to welcome here in the Let's Talk with Lakshmi studios none other than Sangeet Acharya Kinnar Seen. Kinnarji, namaste, and welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmi.
Thank you for having me, Lakshmi.
Well, it's indeed a pleasure to have someone of your status here in the
I'm
studios.
honored to be here.
Thank you very much. Kinnarji, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where in India are you from?
North India, and if it's a particular place you want to know, I was born in Jammu in the mountains, and then my young age, I grew up in Punjab, Jalandhar.
In Punjab. So are you considered Punjabi or?
I consider myself Indian.
Okay. So when did you migrate to the US?
In 1984, 85, I came to play an India festival all over the world. There was a festival worldwide.
So 84, 85, you're fairly new here. So I know your family is also into music. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Yes, my father is my guru, and since it's in home, music day, night, morning, evening, whenever we sit down or we talk, all the time music is going on. My mother was into music too. We are 6 brothers, sisters. They all play music, even though they've been to different studies, different colleges. But music, everybody knows in the family.
Now, did you fall into music because of your family?
Naturally, but nobody forced me
No one
or
forced
nobody.
you.
Yeah, my parents, they never forced us. Just listening naturally, watching every day. I think it engraves into you, goes into your memory, and then personally, I liked it.
Wonderful.
And that's how I started doing.
Now, I read also that your wife's family also came from music. So you ended up also marrying someone who was musically inclined.
Yeah, that's how I met, but mainly her family is a business family. But later on, she adopted the music because of her mother. His mother is a singer. That's how she started learning music and started singing. She had a natural talent, but she has her own guru. And through music, we met too.
Right. Now, I know here in the United States, not only in the United States, but internationally, you have schools. Can you tell me a little bit about where your schools are and what you teach at the schools?
Initially, Lakshmi, I wasn't planning to open any school, but since I came here, I played my few shows I played. In Queens, the first time in 87, 88, I started teaching, but not thinking that I will open a school.
Okay.
But general public, Indian, they supported me, especially people from the West Indies, Guyana, Trinidad, Suriname. It was a big support. So then after having from 5 students to hundreds of them. Hundreds now. So that's how I planned, and I opened the first school in Queens. And then my senior student opened school in different places. Then I have a school in Long Island now, in New York.
Okay. Where in Long Island?
In Plainview, 103 Nassau Avenue.
Okay.
I have a studio to teach. And then in St. Martin's, my senior students run, Anisha Lund runs that school. In Orlando, Anil Dukhi and Tejshiri, they run. In Toronto, Dennis Ramkalavan, he runs.
Okay.
They're all my senior students, so they run classes all over.
Now, you also have classes in the Caribbean?
Yes, in Trinidad.
In Trinidad, okay. Now, what do you teach at the classes?
It's Indian music, but when we say Indian music, it's a vast world. But I personally go with the traditional music. I start basics, and I teach tabla, sitar, harmonium, singing.
Okay. Now, I know you have a lot of Indo-Caribbean students, a lot of the students from the Caribbean.
Ji.
Now, how would you say they compare to, let's say, Indian students who may speak the mother tongue, Hindi, and of course, as you know, Caribbean students don't speak Hindi. How would you say they compare?
I personally don't compare because there's nothing to compare. There's no comparison. Music has no language.
Okay.
It's music itself is a language. And if you speak Hindi and don't practice music, you can't get anywhere. But if you don't speak Hindi, but you're into it with the soul and heart, you will get as far you want to get. So
As
the
far as you
comparison
want.
only goes how much riyaz, how much practice you do. Being Indian American has nothing to do with learning music, so I don't compare.
It comes from your heart.
Yes.
Okay. Now I've read, I mean, your bio is so impressive. You've played so many places for so many famous people. Now tell me a little bit about the experience with the Beatles that I read.
Yeah, Beatles, I don't remember the name. It was a 40 people orchestra, and I think they needed a sitar in it, which George Harrison played few pieces. And one of the pieces I remember, Within You, Without You. So they were looking for a sitar player exactly the way George Harrison played. And somebody, one of my friend, Sameer Chatterjee, who played with me many times, tabla too. So we talked to each other, they referred my name, and that's how I got into that 40 people live orchestra. And that's where we did some shows under all Beatles song, and we had a director. Right now I don't remember the name.
Very impressive. Now I also read that you've been asked several times to go to universities to give lectures and
Gee.
examples of your music. Tell me some of the colleges, some of the universities that you attended.
The most which I remember were the best one was in Columbia. I did couple of lectures. That was one of the syllabus they had to learn about Indian music and India. So I had a class which goes 32 people, I think, and then they get credit for that. So students, music students, get to ask questions. First
Okay.
thing is this. And then I answer them how it works, how the system works, which is a little bit complex, cannot be explained right now. But that's how I got into my lecture demonstration. Then in Hofstra, Adelphi University, I had a class. Stony Brook, many of them.
Princeton, I think I read also.
Princeton, yes, they made my, yes, I'm glad you reminded me. They made my archive too. I have a recording in Princeton University, many artists, and one of the piece I played for the university when I used to lecture and demonstrate there.
Also Juilliard's.
Yeah, Juilliard's I played, I lectured. Lafayette, Muhlenberg, Penn State, yeah, no, I remember. All these university.
Amazing.
This is what mainly I do. I'm a visiting lecturer to many university.
Now tell me, how do you feel visiting here from India to come here to do a show and then becoming iconic? I mean, Kinnarji, you're iconic in our community. Everyone knows who you are. Everyone is amazed by you and your students. And how does that feel to know that you left India, you came here, and you've become so famous?
Lakshmi, I don't know if I'm famous, or I can't, but it doesn't feel any different from first day to today because I believe in God, I believe in luck so much, and I feel today that if I'm here for some reason, and God wanted me to be here, that's why I'm here. I'm just doing the same thing which I will do today or tomorrow, and the main thing is the people around me make me whatever I am. And if that takes to become icon, maybe I am. But in my heart, I'm just a servant of music.
You're just Kinnar, right? So humble, viewers. Kinnarji, tell me, what is your most memorable time as an artist? Maybe it was a show, maybe it was a function. Tell me, what's your most memorable time as an artist?
Every function is memorable. I mean, it's a milestone. It's like an exam.
Mm-hmm.
There is not such thing that you did well today and tomorrow it's going to be well too. But few of them, when I was invited in a group in Africa, in festival of Asila, when I played for King of Morocco, that was something
King
amazing.
of Morocco, okay.
Yes, for King of Morocco, we were 32 people. I represented India there. And for Jamaica, governor of Jamaica, I was invited.
Now,
Trinidad.
how is it that you're getting these invitations? It's
I
because
don't-
you're well known,
Uh,
you're
I'm not-
iconic, like I said earlier.
I think one of our team member, they always used to suggest have someone as a manager or someone who
Okay.
can work for you, which I never had. I still don't have a manager. No, I haven't. I should say Priya does most of the work now.
Okay.
But that's how they used to contact, and then they used to call me in a group. So I was part of the group.
Okay. Now, Priya, as your manager, I believe I've read that she's also part of the school. She teaches dancing now?
Yes,
You teach
teaches,
dancing there as well.
Yes, we teach many things, which I'm going to add Hindi and yoga very soon. We're going to have our own building.
Okay, so you're
But-
expanding.
Yeah, expanding, and that's where Priya teaches, and she had a
She's an excellent dancer. I've
excellent
seen her.
dancer, and her guru is excellent too. So that's
Mitchum.
Jamuna ji.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, other than Africa, let me ask you, have you visited the Caribbean at all?
Yes, few times.
Where
Many
have you
times. Guyana, Saint Martin's, Suriname.
been?
Mostly in Trinidad. Trinidad, many times I played, and many of my recordings are played in Guyana. Almost once a week they play our recording, Pyle, my wife and I. And in Trinidad, where we settled the school, few friends put together something, and there's a Shivananda School of Music. They always invite me to talk, to lecture.
Okay.
And then I played some shows there alone and with my wife and I.
Now, tell me, I know you released some albums. Tell me a little bit about the albums.
I have 26 recordings in the market.
26?
So I don't really
Oh
remember
my goodness, okay.
all of them. But 5 of them are still in the market, which is I did the music and I wrote the songs, and Surendra Ramdehal did the music with me. Amazing musician.
Now, he's from Guyana.
He's from
Surendra,
Guyana.
okay.
Yeah. The whole family is a musician's family.
That's the Ramdehal family, right?
Yes, very
Very
well
talented
known,
family.
very talented family. And I have 2 sitar recordings, which
Okay.
done by Universal, some companies. I don't remember the name, but the name of album is Divine Experience.
Divine Experience, okay.
And the other one, it's a live concert. They made a CD, so 5 of them.
Now, can we purchase this on your website if we wanted to?
Yes, if you go to sangeetvilas.com,
SangeetVillas.com,
Right.
and we can purchase on there.
purchase, yeah, and people can see a little more about us.
Now, let me ask you: do you have a favorite musical instrument? I know you play the sitar, the harmonium, the tabla. Do you have a favorite?
They're all my favorite.
No.
But mainly my first instrument is my sitar instrument. That's how I perform if I have to do performance in classical.
Okay. Now, I also saw on your website that you have quite a number of shows with your students. How often do you put on shows?
Once a year we put a big show on, but it's not only about show. My kids who are learning from years from me, they have their own programs too. In most of the temple, you will see my students, and especially in Guyanese temple, you will see my students.
Can you
are
mention some
performing.
of the students? Because I'm sure a lot
few of my senior
our
students who have been
audiences know
teaching
them.
today,
Okay.
like Geeta Setia, Janminder Walia, Narendra, Manju, they teach all of them. Keshwar,
Okay.
and one of the best singers, the young child you just saw,
Benny.
Benny Parag.
Okay.
He's like my child. They all like my kids. It's not that I differentiate. So right now I'm saying the names. So these are a few people who perform. There's a Rudy Ramkilavan,
Okay.
Dennis, I already said the name.
Okay.
Angie Pare used to come and learn from me. Now she's
Anjali,
no.
was one of your students?
yes for many years, and her
Wow,
brother.
Anjali's
her brother.
excellent singer in our community.
Satya Maharaj. See, I have hundreds of students. I don't know if I even should say the names, but sorry kids if I'm doing any.
No, we don't want to miss
partiality.
anybody.
So
Lakshmee
all
was,
of them are good.
I just wanted to know
It's
some
Lakshmee's
of the
fault.
Caribbean. I wanted to know some of the Caribbean students. Now,
Yeah, those are the name like Satya
Oh,
Maharaj, and
okay.
these are all Caribbean. Rudy Ram Kalavan.
now, how do you feel? I mean, students like Anjali Perez, students like Benny, and I mean, all of them are
Mhm.
amazing. But when you see them perform on stage, how do you feel as their Guruji? Because these children, Kinnarji, are doing fantastic. It's just like they're God sent. It's like God has blessed them with this talent.
Yes, I feel proud of them, and not because I'm teaching them.
Right.
It's like, as you said, they're gifted. They're God gifted, all of them. I as a teacher, as a guru, just try to guide them to the right direction. But the tricky part is this: not everybody believes in that. They think this is what they have to do. They have certain concept of music, learning music in their mind, and they want to do the way they want to do it. Then you can't train the student. So it's not only I am training, it's they're gifted, and then they're ready to receive, ready to take training. That's how they go into it.
there's an age that you should start music, and then would you say that there's an age that you can no longer learn music?
Uh, yes, it depends. What do you want to be? How far do you want to go in a life? And what's the reason of learning music? I do ask those questions.
Right.
And then, if for the sake of love, you love music, you want to do it, not that becoming, oh, I have to go sing on a stage, I have to cut an album, then it's a problem with the age. But
Yeah.
if you love music, there is no age problem. You can start anytime and learn. But you have to put your heart into it, soul into it. Without practice, either you are 20 or 30 or 50 or 60, you can't learn. Nobody can learn. But if you're 60 and you put your heart into it, you will learn.
Kinarji, there are a lot of other academies for music today in New York City. How would you say that your school compares or rates compared to maybe other schools?
You're asking me tricky questions, Lakshmi, and I'm not going to answer.
Okay.
Which is, I feel the truth. The truth is, every academy is good. But by me saying maybe doesn't really mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's how, again, what we bring out, what are we doing, how are we doing, how many students are doing well in this world. And that's what you should decide, people should decide. I don't compare myself. Maybe I'm nothing in the market, maybe people think. But then the general public should see, and they should decide who I am. And if they decide I'm the worst, no problem. If I'm the best, no problem. Either way. But I'm not going to stop doing what I believe in, that it's the right way to do.
Now, there was a young gentleman, I'm not sure if he was your student, he had went to the Sarigama Pa?
Oh yes, Vishal Bhalla.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was your student, right?
Yes, I trained him, hard training. He's gone through very tough training.
Excellent.
And he did well.
He did
very
well.
good.
Now, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? I know you mentioned, I know now you have Priya with the dancing. You mentioned that you want to do yoga. Where do you see yourself and your school in 10 years from now?
Lakshmi, I don't have any planning. I told you I believe in doing, and then I believe in God. God will show me the path. What would I do? But this is what in my mind. In my mind, what to do in 10 years, or maybe, I don't know if I live that long. If I do live that long, I want to train people, not only just teach a song or give someone qaida or one rag or something. I want to connect this music spiritually, religiously too, and explain people that why do we need to learn the music? Where does it come from? What's the reason that it's related spiritually with you? And that because everything, our culture, depends on spiritualism, religion, and music. There's no temple that you go to temple and there's no music. Every temple has music.
Music.
Why there is a music? So that's what I want to explain to people one day. As I said, if I live long enough, if I can do it, then my students will do it. I'm training enough people. They will do it. But where I would be, I don't know.
Okay, God will know, and only God knows, and we'll know in 10 years, viewers. Now, tell me a little bit about your son. I've read about your son. He's very talented, just like you and his grandfather. Tell our audiences a little bit about your son.
Like all the kids, younger kids, in the beginning, he wasn't into it at all. So my father visited, we were on a world tour, and first time when he visited, he saw him, and we were in papers, even in New York Times and Newsday.
Yes, I read that.
Excuse me. So I think he understood that doing some extra activity is something good for the life, and that's the first time he started with my father doing that. So then he started learning, and he was natural again, amazing, and he started teaching. Then I started.
He's teaching now.
Yeah, he's teaching in my school. He's one of the teacher with my wife and I.
So what is he teaching?
Tabla, mainly tabla.
Okay, tabla.
Teaches. And then he did some modeling and works for AT&T and some
Very nice.
clothing modeling.
Now he did some videos, I think I heard somewhere.
Yes, for Apple.
Apple?
Yeah, last night actually we were shooting on it, some kind of commercial or something. Not sure.
Now, did he get that because he's musically inclined?
Yes, definitely. They found out that he plays these instruments, and somebody had an idea. And then he started. I hope he doesn't mind saying these things.
Well, we'll have to bring him on one day with your wife.
Yeah, sure. That would be wonderful. We would love to.
Now, would you be kind enough to give us a few examples of maybe some ragas?
This is what I teach. That's
Yeah.
I follow the very traditional, which is 5,000-year-old system I follow. And as when you asked me before, what do I want to do, and even my all secrets, my all tricks, because I go with the traditional basic stuff. And there are 10 scales which all we go through. Everybody should go through it. And then if you're singing bhajan or shabad or geet, doesn't matter, because you have to have a voice for that.
Okay.
And voice need to know if we're doing sa re ga ma ba da ni sa ni da ba ma ga re sa. But if you change one key, sa re ga ma instead of ma, so there are two notes now. There are two, fourth sharp, fourth regular. If it's a regular note, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, that's bilal. But if we do sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, then every rag has a signature. For example, this is Kalyan. Ni re ga pa ma re ga re sa, ni re pa ma re ga re sa. Then many things are based on these rags. For example, Chanda sa badam chanchal chitavam dhiri. This is based on Kalyan. Or jab deep jale aana, jab sham dhale aana. So then we take those signature moves of the rag and make songs. When you have a voice, then you sing anything you want to sing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Kinnarji, it was a pleasure having you here down at Let's Talk with Lakshmi. It's definitely an honor and a pleasure, and I can't wait to invite your son and your wife down again.
Definitely. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Lakshmi, for having me here.
Namaste.
चुपके चुपके